Right now, above your head, there are more than 130 million pieces of debris orbiting the Earth, and some of them are moving faster than a rifle bullet. A fleck of paint at orbital speed can punch a hole clean through a spacecraft window. A bolt or a dead battery or a fragment the size of a coin can destroy a satellite worth hundreds of millions of dollars on impact. This isn't science fiction. It has already happened. In 2009, a defunct Russian satellite called Cosmos 2251 collided with a working American satellite, Iridium 33, nearly 500 miles above Siberia. Both satellites shattered instantly into more than 2,000 new pieces of trackable debris and countless smaller fragments, too tiny to track at all. Each of those new pieces is now its own bullet, on its own orbit, waiting for its own collision. In 1978, a NASA scientist named Donald Kessler warned this could spiral out of control. He described a chain reaction. One collision creates debris. That debris causes more collisions, and each of those creates even more debris, faster than gravity can pull any of it back down. Eventually, entire orbital shells could become too dangerous to fly through, for decades, maybe longer. This idea now has a name, Kessler syndrome, and low Earth orbit is edging closer to it every year. Here's why that matters to you, specifically, and not just to astronauts. Your phone's map uses satellites to know exactly where you are. Your bank stamps transactions using satellite time signals precise to billionths of a second. Farmers guide tractors by satellite. Airlines route flights by satellite. Weather forecasts, disaster warnings, and internet access for entire regions run through satellites sitting in the same crowded shells this debris cloud is filling up. A bad enough cascade wouldn't just strand a few astronauts. It could black out the invisible infrastructure your ordinary Tuesday quietly depends on. And once a shell goes bad, there's no easy fix. Cleaning up debris moving 18,000 miles an hour is nothing like sweeping a floor. Most of it is still too small to even track, let alone catch. Some proposed solutions sound like science fiction themselves. Giant nets, harpoons, lasers that nudge junk out of orbit one fragment at a time. All of them are slow. All of them are expensive. None of them exist yet at the scale this problem needs. So the next clear night, when you look up and see a satellite drifting silently overhead, remember what's really up there with it. Not just stars, not just spacecraft. 130 million pieces of shrapnel orbiting the only door humanity has out to the rest of the universe. And every launch adds a few more nails to that door. The problem is accelerating, not slowing down. In the last 5 years alone, companies have launched tens of thousands of small internet satellites into low orbit, more than in the entire previous history of spaceflight combined. Every one of those satellites is another object that has to be tracked, another object that could fail, and another object that adds to the traffic jam. The International Space Station already has to fire its engines several times a year just to dodge debris that's been flagged as a collision risk. In 2021, the crew had only minutes of warning before a fragment passed close enough that they sealed themselves inside their escape capsule, ready to leave the station behind if it hit. It missed. This time, every near miss is a preview of the version of this story where the debris doesn't miss, and a piece of junk from a satellite launched decades ago becomes the reason nobody can safely fly through that altitude again for a generation. That's the real punchline hiding underneath all of this. We spent 60 years launching things up and never built a plan for bringing the wreckage back down. The door to space is still open, but we are the ones quietly welding it shut.